Since I'm being forced to render a statement about Evan Knauer of Soul Chunk Mary and ATS, the Shunts, and he's dead, Jim. He was student at Carnegie Mellon, and it's important to remember that there's some very formidable and unidentified gangs at Carnegie Mellon. Magno One, Radio KKK, um, a number of bands whose names come and go in my memory. They would come in from New York. J.P. Morgan's family was strong there. NASA. They come in from Saudi Arabia. They come in from India, China, Japan, extremists from Russia. And they were all loyal to Trumpy Tune on one level or another. Now, Knauer was sort of presenting himself to the public as someone who was interested in helping the homeless around the city of Pittsburgh. You know, the Operation Low and Downtrodden Assistance Crowd. He promoted Vince Eirene, as many of the um, very powerful and influential and rich students of Carnegie Mellon all did. And one of the reasons, was because Vince Eirene had it in for me. He had the pedophile blackmails of the Mancine snuff film syndicate in his pocket, knew that I was in severe trauma from having taken a brutal beating and been kidnapped as a child, and was covering it up with human traffickers from the Friends meeting and the New People, Thomas Merton Center, whose emphasis was always on controlling the sexual traffic in the poorer neighborhoods. Now, Evan personally said to me that bragged that he was from the Patrick Henry Society. Penis Gabriel changed the name of his show business ledger to Tina in favor of Tina Caligiuri and Sharon Henry, a gang of very violent women, one of whom nearly killed somebody and ended up in prison for a long time, but still has chains who can set off tire fires when she wants them to, because of this Patrick Henry scene. And Evan Knauer said to me when I told him that I think we should be more idealistic in an area that has intelligence and power, I have to feed my mother and sister, Jim. So, the appeal is to nativism, not the poor. It's a nativist streak in Appalachia, a provincial norm where the NAACP made kiddie porn films to blackmail people who are children of their rivals. This is what is really going on with the Postal Union's murder of Shannon Harps. And the Postal Union murder of Shannon Harps comes up um, in Seattle, along with the murder of the Kennedys. But if you look at Proctor's book, Black Panther Organization, Postal Union Organization are right on top of each other in this self-published Smithsonian-worthy document. So the Smithsonian is covering for Schulman, even though they printed what he did. What Knauer did and what his take on things that holds dominance with King Crimson, psychopath, is that Jimmy showed up. He doesn't say Jimmy showed up because he was introduced to Matt Marcus by Leslie Katz after she came to visit him, necking with him after he wrote a letter to her, which became infamous. Brian Kopp rolled his eyes and told a Krim Madani, who was buying books from Schulman. So they rolled their eyes at the letter. She came and introduced me to Matt Marcus and put up a poem, Hide Here Under My Cloak, which implies dagger. Of course, she was a partner of Schulman. Now it leaves that out. What he has is Jimmy used to come up to our studio and Matt didn't like him, but I tolerated him. True. I was one of the low and downtrodden of Pittsburgh. You think I'm being remorseless towards Evan. No, I'm not. I was slow to make any statement about him. I liked Evan on some levels. He seemed like a worthy kid. And so, like some people, I was looking for a more plausible explanation when Brian Richmond wired up a lure with Will Zell to Mount Desert Island and used me for their pre-anthrax attack AIDS testing war game. And this guy Zell was promoting Goebbels. Now, this was supposedly to protect Leslie Katz. So he was the JDL dude who was promoting Goebbels. JDL promoting Goebbels. Now, how did they get that? Well, because Jimmy was a dictator. You see, they'd implanted a neuroplasm, and they had him yammering things in Senegalese about carrots to get Andrea Swimmer laughing. So, because he had an implanted neuroplasm, he was a dictator. Therefore, Goebbels is defending the JDL by using him in a mousetrap lure of AIDS ultimatum because he owes the black man of the NAACP dibs on the Dorigoto, see? And you wonder why Cornell was denied tenure at Harvard. Okay, well, this is the magnificence of Cantu repertoire theater. This is the magnificence of Black Africana studies at the University of Pittsburgh. This is the magnificence of Rose's baboons. This is the absurdity of Carnegie Mellon University. And the heart wiring expert for a lot of this stuff is a brainy dude named Evan Knauer. Has a big Aryan skull, and he's a member of the Patrick Henry Society. What makes him so great is he can play his guitar. He played his guitar at He's Dead Jimmy, where I met Mary Steiner, who lured me up to New York, who was passive aggressive about making love to me and nudged me in class when they said overpopulation. And this magnificent reflex of REM from an implanted neuroplasm, which they interrogated, suggested +1 DT, defiant trespass. That means we get to do Circe and Killer, says this gang from Carnegie Mellon's Trumpy Tune headquarters, who've been stealing books from with the help of John Schulman and selling them to Jerusalem powwows with the ROC magnates like Kirill, while Vladimir Putin laughs it up with the Germans. So what you see is an international fascist movement that includes black people. See, that's what's so difficult for the stupids in Seattle to get through their heads. The NAACP is embracing pussyball warfare and biological thinning of the herd so that they can be included in the great wealth of the orc to come. And this, America has to watch the scam that's developing in the Green Party. We do need to take leadership. People say, oh, well, America, when they wake up, have done great things for the world. Well, wake up and do great things for the world, but don't buy this Green Party BS. This Green Party BS is just that. It's BS. And Evan Knauer seemed to have the aptitude to be able to grasp these things. You have something to say to this, Evan. Do you want to respond? I'll put it up in my blog. You can make a YouTube tape and say Jimmy Crary was bugging us, so we had to put him down, man.